Thanks.
Tanya Marchiol from Team Investments is live from Phoenix. And Tanya, we've got three topics we want to go over today. First, the existing home sales number just out, up 5% month over month at 11-month high. Obviously still far from what everyone would call healthy levels, but is the glass half full or half empty on this?
Honestly, I think any positive real estate news is great for the economy. However, I think that we need to make sure that we're very careful about these numbers. I think that repossessions last year were down because of the robo-signing mess. We repossessed about 800,000 homes, and 400,000 more should have been repossessed. Those are going to have to hit the market. So it's great to have positive news, but let's not get too excited. Let's realize that we are not out of this mess yet.
Okay, that takes us nicely to the next topic. The housing market in that San Francisco Bay Area picking up. Home sales are rising. Now, is this just a Silicon Valley thing, or is there something else to it?
No, I really believe that this is indicative of what's going on in the lower home prices across the country. So their low home price is $300,000, and they were up, I think it was 4.4%. They sold 8,000 properties, and it was 30% cash buyers. That's what I thought was interesting. And 50% of those sales were distressed properties. That's going on across the countries. People are seeing what the value of real estate can be, and they want the deal. So they're looking for the deals.
You know, the thing is, too, when this whole housing thing began, everyone talked about the investors, and they were the they were the guys who started it. But isn't it true, looking at this, that these prices are coming in, 30% cash buyers, maybe it's going to be investors that ultimately turn the housing market around?
Absolutely. And this is a situation where I would love to get everyone into real estate because the potential here is amazing. And of course, I see the opportunity in all of this and I love it. But really, it's about cash flow. People are renting. This is the time to get into real estate for low prices, good rentability, and make some money in it.
All right, now our last story, there's a lot of talk about a big bailout for homeowners. The president's giving a State of the Union. A lot of people think the central part of that is going to be big news, real big news with housing, and maybe even some sort of a principal write-down for mortgages. You and I have debated this before. You still think it's a great idea?
I think it's an absolutely amazing idea. Here's the bottom line. We as taxpayers bailed out the banks at $14 trillion. They are still sitting on $1.64 trillion of reserves. And last week, Bank of America came out with their numbers, and they made $2 billion last year. Now, underwater homeowners are about $709 billion. That's what it would take to really get this mess moving. If the banks help the homeowners out like the taxpayers help the banks out, what that would really do is it would put $71 billion back into the economy per year, or $6,500 per homeowner, and it would create over 1 million jobs. This has to start to be something that we think about to implement and make this whole process better. There's no way we're getting out of this mess without principal reduction being implemented at some level.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, what do you specifically want them to do? You want them to go in and reduce the principal on houses. I mean, what about just making the payments more affordable? They've done that by lowering rates. That doesn't count?
Payments don't matter. The bottom line is that people are still going to be upside down. So once again, we kick the can down the road with a payment reduction, because then that person goes to sell 5 years from now when the Debt Forgiveness Act of 2007 is gone, and now they get taxed on that because it's still a short sale, because we are nowhere near the end of this mess. That doesn't work. Principal reduction works, where people actually have money in their pocket. They feel comfortable living in the house that they're in because they know that the value and what they're paying are in sync, and it works. This has to be something that we think about when over 50% of Americans are really still upside down in their home.
The only thing I would say is, and believe me, I just read where Fitch Ratings said agrees with you, but it would seem that if that's the case, then, we encourage a lot of people who do stay current on their mortgage, and, why would anybody pay their bills anymore if ultimately it's all forgiven and, the government comes to our rescue?
Not only that, when the value of a house went up, I mean, did you do principal increase with the bank and pay them more? I mean, homeowners got to keep it when the value of the house went down. It's a risk that they took by investing. I mean, I understand that it's hard to stay in a house that... Go ahead.
Both of you are arguing morality. Morality flew out the window a long time ago, and people need to start running their life like a business. This needs to be a business decision. Otherwise, we're going to be in this mess a whole lot longer. This needs to be a situation where people look at themselves and make super wise decisions, because the homeowners weren't making wise decisions. The banks weren't, well, they were just making money. The real estate professionals weren't making wise decisions. Nobody was making wise decisions. And now people need to start looking at their finances and making wise decisions and running their life like a business, because that doesn't work anymore.
You're still picking winners and losers, and it's inherently unfair, and it's immoral and unethical in many ways, and that does count.
It's not
I disagree
inherently
with
unfair.
Of course it is. How's that fair to people who were responsible and thoughtful and did the right thing?
Here's what I do think should happen. For people who've paid off their home and they are underwater, I think they should get a tax credit. I absolutely understand that there is a place for that, because there are people who have paid off their mortgages that would not benefit from this.
We've run out of time. It's lively. It's wonderful. We're going to have you back with more amoral, but it's financially sound solutions for the housing market. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Next up, the Green Skeptic is going to be here to tell us if Greenies will ever be happy with any proposal for that Keystone Pipeline, or do they just really want it to be dead?
Coming up tonight on Power and Money, are social conservatives warming up to Mitt Romney? We're going to ask American Values President Gary Bauer about what he expects from South Carolina's key primary on Saturday. Keep it right here. Stewart comes back in a moment.
The 5 Keys to Prosperity. Professor and political money man John Taylor says a fiscal solution for America is simple. Now he reveals the easy steps for business leaders and lawmakers. Tonight on The Willis Report.
Movers, shakers, and entrepreneurs, today's business solutions are made simple with FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. They offer a world of solutions. Find out more in 30 seconds.